Hi, I'm Anne Bowditch, and we're just going to talk briefly about anxiety, why you might be anxious. And anxious is rarely something that you come into this world with. It is usually the result of life experiences. And this can start at a young age and it can be so many different things. So sometimes it's a build up of a number of events, and other times it can be one significant event in your life that creates that anxiety. It can be things like a parent being ill, prolonged illness. It could be that you spent time in hospital as a child. It could be going into a situation and having some sort of bad experience in that situation. Maybe somebody was horrible to you, or you didn't feel included, or maybe you sort of made some sort of mistake and people laughed at you, or you just felt very self-conscious. So what we believe is vital, and a lot of people who suffer anxiety do have confidence challenges. So confidence can underpin it, although not always. Some people can have anxiety and pretty good confidence, but very often that's linked to confidence. And what you need to do is address the underlying issue. So stored within your subconscious mind are those events that have triggered this anxiety. So one of the most important things from my point of view as a therapist to do is to settle those memories. And I use techniques including sort of hypnotherapy and emotional freedom technique to release that emotion link to the memory, and then you can create a new wonderful memory. And as far as your subconscious is concerned, the new memory is a real event, because the wonderful thing that I love so much about the subconscious mind is it does not understand the difference between, if you like, an actual event that happened, a real event, and something that you create almost like a daydream and place that within your subconscious mind. And therefore you can use that to your benefit. The other key thing I find with anxiety is that you get into habitual thought patterns. So you very often might wake up in the morning and be thinking about something in the day ahead that you're dreading. And you might constantly be someone who's telling yourself you can't do things. Again, that will link back to your beliefs. You will believe on some level, due to certain situations, maybe things you were told, or as I say, situations that didn't go so well, that you may be not capable, not good enough, those sorts of things. So again, you need to look at that, but using the conscious mind as well, by just using very, very simple techniques to change what's going on in what we call your inner voice. So your inner voice is that running commentary that you have throughout the day. So beginning to recognize that thought and then replacing it with something more positive is really going to help you. And initially it feels maybe a little challenging, maybe almost a little unreal, and even a little robotic to do it. But by not giving the negative thought attention, because that's what people with anxiety do, they give the negative thought attention. When you stop giving the negative thought attention, it fades. And so just by repeating the process of changing what's going on with that inner voice, you're removing your link to the negative voice. And I look on it a bit like a dog with a stick. If the dog brings you the stick and you keep throwing it for the dog, it will keep coming back. And that's what the negative voice is like. If you keep paying attention to the negative voice, it will keep coming back. But once you start connecting and putting something positive in there, the negative voice goes away. The dog finds someone else to throw its stick for it. So just as an example, you might think to yourself, oh, I couldn't go to the shop, it's too stressful. But if you were to say to yourself, I could go to the shop for 5 minutes. I could go to the shop, I could pick up 3 items of food and leave the shop. And then also what you've done is you've set yourself a very simple goal. You're not giving yourself a whole shopping list, which might be a little bit too overwhelming, maybe a step too far. You're giving yourself something small. You perhaps know where those 3 items of food are. You go, you get your 3 items, and you come out. Or another example of changing that inner voice is where you might just constantly tell yourself that you're useless. So, for instance, you might drop a glass and say, "Oh, you're an idiot." Well, again, you can change that. So you bring in the positive voice and you say, "It's no big deal. People drop glasses. It's fine." You immediately remove the emotion from the negative voice. Because again, something else that's quite a similar pattern within a lot of anxiety sufferers is being hard on themselves. So be a bit more gentle with yourself. And I do offer more tools on anxiety and a bit more info on that inner voice in my book, The Energy of Anxiety, and I expand a little bit on that technique. But sometimes it's the simple things that can make the biggest differences. So don't underestimate the power of doing a few simple things so that you can feel better.